And this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? I'm feeling great today. It is a Monday. I am the coach. This is Coach and Company, and we are live on the Stadium Network, Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, also YouTube, our own. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we're so close to that next big marker. Hit that subscribe button. If you're going to watch, you want to be interactive with us on YouTube, that's fine too. Hit the like button on the way in. If you watch on social media, welcome on X and on Facebook. Now, it was an incredible weekend across the world of sports. We'll get into all that here in a second. But first and foremost, we want you to represent our brand. We have a brand new merchandise store, and every single day we try to figure out how can we give something back to you. So I encourage you, we will promote every single week. We have something new, a new code. We'll get to that later in the show as well. Now, a little news of the day. UConn, one of the great finishes in the history of the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about that coming up in about 30 minutes. Also, St. John's, they are out, but Rick Pitino, he is in. He has signed a new deal to stay at St. John's at 73 years old. Now, that's just a little bit about what went on. We have men's and women's tournament action. We had one of the great wins in the history of the PGA Tour. We'll get into that in Weekend Rewind coming up in about 20 minutes. And, oh, yeah, baseball is back. And also, combat sports, the UFC and the PFL, both had events over the weekend. So how do we put it into just 60 minutes with our best bets? Well, that's our job. Your job is to absolutely enjoy it. So housekeeping is over. Can you match my energy? Can you match the vibe? Can you match the educate and entertain, laugh and learn? It's what we do. But I don't do it by myself. Sometimes I get very, very impatient. Ladies and gentlemen, and for all of you who are brand new, welcome to our show. It's time. Let's beat the books. All right, do not forget that I've got such a motley crew here on a Monday morning. Now, he's the executive producer of BetMGM every single night. You want live betting? You want great analysis? His show is one of the absolute best. Brandon, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, company. I'm so happy we got baseball back, especially since Duke, what a bunch of losers, blew up my damn bracket this weekend.
Oh, man. Did you have them winning it all?
I did.
Oh, sorry,
Stupid.
big dog. Sorry, big dog. We'll get into all that. My goodness, what a finish yesterday, last night. Now, next, he's our numbers guy for a reason. Say good morning to Rafael Esparza. Good morning, Rafael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, family. It's a Monday. We got Final Four coming up this weekend. It's a fun week because we have baseball all week as well. I can't wait.
And last night, because so many people bet on it, I watched Arizona State and West Virginia play college baseball, and there were 3 people in the stands. Now, next, he is the host of Weekday Wagers, sometimes Weekend Wagers. Say good morning to the man live from Memphis, Tennessee. DG, what's good?
Morning, Coach. Morning, boys. It's a Monday. It feels good. The sun is shining. Yeah, my Dukies blew it, but who cares? These college kids, they'll come and go quickly, but it is Monday. I love it, Coach. Let's get it going.
I saw so much, DG and Brandon, so much analysis from the armchair quarterbacks, those that have never played college basketball like me and DG, or college and church league basketball like me and DG. But they said, and DG, I'm anxious to get your opinion, should he have held it and just taken the foul up too? Because that's what I would have done.
That's what you definitely would have done. But you see 2 guys streaking. They're wide open. The game ends. Just put it over the 7-footer. Unfortunately, Caden Boozer, he ate those. Like, what happened? He ate it all in the post game. And at that point, I give him all the love and all the praise because he owned it as a man. It was the wrong play, but he owned it.
He absolutely did, him and his brother. And then the hardest question I saw, Brandon, was when one of the members of the media said, your brother said this could be the last game you get to play together as brothers. That hit me. Did that hit you?
No, it didn't hit me because I wanted to hit him. You damn blew up my bracket. What were you doing? Hold on to the ball, kid. Why are you throwing the – you're not a quarterback. You're not trying to throw it over the line. You're a basketball player. Hold on to the ball and take the foul and take the shots. My God, what a poke.
Wow. At least they weren't up 19 early. Oh, wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. One of the worst blown leads of all time. All right, gentlemen. I think we're going to have a great week. I really, really do. But you can't have a great week without a great Monday. So I have one very simple question for all of you. Who won? Wow. Apparently, DG says, I want to bring up the rear. I'm not even going to try for all the smoke. So, Brandon, my guy, I like it. Start us off.
Yes, sir. We're going to stay in the world of baseball, the sport that I know and love so much. I'm so happy it's back, Coach. Let's go Dodgers -1.5 versus the Cleveland Guardians. This is actually plus money today. You can get the Dodgers -1.5 versus a really not so good Guardians team, bad pitching staff, not so great lineup. At plus 100, I'll take the Dodgers -1.5. And then let's go Cincinnati Reds money line versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why? Because the Reds are good and the Pirates aren't. -125, Reds money line.
I like it. A great way to freaking start right there in the middle. I feel like we're playing a little tic-tac-toe today. So let's go upper left. Let's try to get an X. No, we don't want X's there. We want check marks there. DG, go.
I'm going to target 2 rookies, and we're going to go and start off with Munetaka Murakami, and that is over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -113. This rookie is on fire, homering in all 3 games that he's played so far. But we looked at, yes, he's covered all over the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs in every game. He stays hot again. Got to keep up with the Dodgers. I think he has 2 hits, runs, and RBIs tonight. And then let's go to the other guy, and that's Chase DeLauder. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at +105. I misspoke. This guy's going against the Dodgers in the late night. He's honestly, he has 4 home runs in the 4 games. Not in every one of them, but he has 4 total. He's on pace for 162 home runs. Why not back this rookie as well? I like Chase DeLauder to get us 2 hits, runs, and RBIs tonight.
It's so nice to have baseball back as one more option that you guys have in your toolbox for best bets every single day. So thank you, DG. Brandon, great job. All right, so we got 2 check marks there. All right, do we go down? So Charles, he had to call out late today, but we still have 2 plays from him. Penguins and the Islanders over 8 or over 6. God, that'd have been the highest over of all time if we did over 8, wouldn't it? And then the Rangers and the Orioles play the over there as well. So thank you, Charles, for sending those plays in. All right. Raphael, you want to go? Or would you like me to go?
I will go.
You're up.
Oh, you always want to have to end picks with winners, so I'll let you go last. So we're going to go in the NBA. Bulls, Spurs, both teams to score over 112.5 at even money. Has anyone watched the Chicago Bulls play defense? The Spurs are going to have no issue scoring 112 points. Spurs' last 10 games, they're averaging 124 points per game. This is going to be an ugly game, and the Bulls are just going to stumble getting over 112 points because it's going to be a blowout. I'll take that at even money. And then I'll take the team that's in my division. Give me the Brew Crew. The Brewers team total over 4.5 runs at +145. It's an alternate number. Why did I do the alternate number? Because they scored 29 runs against the White Sox over the weekend. The Brew Crew are going to continue to score runs. The Rays allowed 22 runs to the Cardinals, who have no bats. I think we're going to see a lot of runs this week, or the next 3 games with Milwaukee.
I love how we talk about teams like they've played 45 games already, and they played 3.
There's the White Sox.
They've got no bats. They're horrible. They can't hit. They played 3 games. All right. Gentlemen, it's come down to me. And as you know, I was red hot last week. Red hot. My one and done in my golf, Minwoo Lee. I had Gary Woodland at his tournament pick. He won the whole damn thing. So I'm really dialed in with golf and NBA basketball. And tonight there's going to be a ton of points scored. We've got first and foremost the Bulls and the Spurs. Now, San Antonio, they won 9 games in a row. They're starting to show the world that maybe they're not only the best team in the West, but the best team in the entire NBA. And let me check my notes. For the Bulls, here's their last 4. 249, 246, 284, 256. My God, there's no defense being played in the Spurs. 4 of their last 5, the last 4, they've scored 127, 123, 136, and 134 themselves. You put it together, I love the over. Then the Cavs and the Jazz. Now, I tell you guys all the time that when the Jazz play at home, that's when you want to play the over. They love the rims. They love the arena. They love shooting there. And they also play no defense. So the Cavs, 3 of the last 4, 277, 267. You get the point. A lot of points tonight in the NBA. So let me ask you this, and DG, I'll come over to you. Now that baseball has started, do you lean more into baseball with your betting and your handicapping, or still in the NBA?
I'm definitely more baseball because I can't trust the NBA at this point. We have eight-ish games to go. And, Coach, already the top 10 of each league has already clinched. Man, hard to say that. Clinched a playoff berth. So nobody is really trying to get into the playoffs. Everybody's in. They're jockeying for position. And so I can't take these teams serious just yet. And so I need to get closer to the actual playoffs before I start looking at anybody.
Yeah, Brandon, to DJ's point, when you look at the East, they are locked in. I mean, it's 10 games between Charlotte and Milwaukee. Hello, Giannis. And then in the West, Golden State, they're only 23 games back. Having a hell of a year, boys. Having a hell of a year. Memphis is 33 and a half games back, so it's also 10. So, DG, Memphis what?
Sucks.
Yeah, they suck. So, Brandon, coming over to you. Now that the 10 teams are loaded in, do you think it matters from 7 to 10 at all which teams make it out of and make it the 7 and the 8 seed?
No, I don't think it matters in either conference, to be honest with you. It is the 7 to the 10 seed is just basically, hey, who's going to get to play an extra 4 games before they get swept by the 1 seed in both conferences. So it makes no difference to me whether you are 7, 8, 9, or 10 in this conference.
Did you have a bad weekend? I feel like we're a little bit bitter this morning. Outside of Duke, or is this all Duke?
Yeah, this is basically all Duke. I had a great weekend with baseball and watching sports. We had a sports smorgasbord, and then that boozer idiot throwing the ball up. Like, what are we doing?
Oh, that highlight's going to be showed for years and years and years and years. Raphael, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but there's a lot of futures. There's, you can bet on which team comes out of each region. Do you know how much that swayed or shifted anything in the betting community with that game winner yesterday with 0.4 to go?
Duke not making to the Final Four was huge for the books. Probably one of the biggest bets around their tickets written. So that was really nice for them. And it doesn't matter if Duke would have won or not. Michigan or Arizona State is going to be a 7-point favorite or more against the other side of the bracket.
Wow. Michigan. And we're going to get into all the games coming up in about 20 minutes here on the show. But when you look at what they've done, guys, as opposed to the rest of them, right now, to me, Michigan is clearly high and above everybody else in the NCAA tournament. And, DJ, I think it was you. Didn't you say that Cinderellas are dead in the NCAA tournament now? We've got 2 1s, a 2, and a 3, right?
Yeah, and it should have been Duke in that point because they were winning by so much. It should have been 3 of the number 1s, and then we have a 3 seed, I believe, Illinois is. But it was a cakewalk. We talked about it many a times about Michigan and what they had to go through, the teams. It was a complete cakewalk. They could have beaten every team by 20-plus points. And so at that point, Michigan does look great. Don't get me wrong. But I think they're going to go up against Arizona. That's going to be a clash of the types. I can't wait to break it all down.
Yeah, it's going to be freaking awesome all week long. That's going to be on Saturday. All right, still to come. We're just getting started here on a Monday. We've got Weekend Rewind on the other side, and it has nothing to do with basketball. Why? Because in 20 minutes, we're going to break down the Final Four. Also, the women, UConn, both teams have made it to the final weekend of the year. So all of that still to come, and maybe, just maybe, there's an NBA storyline that we can sink our teeth into. But we're just getting started on a Monday. Settle in. Turn your sound down if you're already at work. We don't want you to get in trouble. But this is Coach and Company. We're here every single weekday live on the Stadium Network. Come on back. All right, boys. Who says that you have to retire when you're 65? Because Rick Pitino and others, Tom Izzo, they're all saying 65, pshaw. And DG, it just came out this morning, ESPN.com, that Rick Pitino, after the great year, they beat KU, end up losing late in the tournament, a new contract extension. Don't know the money, Doesn't matter. He has made tens of millions of dollars in his career. But to get an extension at 73, does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me because Rick Pitino, he's going to live forever at this point. But we're looking at a coach who is redeveloping himself in this new NIL, and some coaches are struggling to do it. But Rick Pitino is finding the right guys that fit his system and honestly fit the St. John's culture to we're going to see this St. John's team good for another 3 or 4 years before he's able to pass the baton off to the next coach that's up and coming.
I wonder how long he'll go because we've never really seen this. We've seen it in football, Raphael, but never really in basketball. A guy get to be 75, 76, 77 and still stay in the game at a high level. Your thoughts, Raph?
I thought it was a great signing because you know what? Now we have some UConn St. John's every year. They're going to play twice and then in a tournament. I think that's the reason why they gave him an extension because there was great crowds, great games. Well, UConn destroyed them by 35 points at one time. But I think it's just because you have Hurley and now
they beat him in the tournament. They beat him in the tournament. So it is what it is. Brandon, do you agree with that? Do you like this signing?
Yeah, I think it's good. Rick Pitino was doing NIL before NIL was legal. So, yeah, I think Pitino's in his wheelhouse right now.
Every time I think about that, I think about the conversations that I had with Bruce Pearl when I was at ESPN and the nonsense of him getting a show cause for a barbecue. Can you imagine if he said that now? A barbecue. That was it. That was it. Absolutely crazy. All right, an incredible weekend, so it's time to get into it. And I task my guys with finding a sports story that really gets them moving. We're trying to draw on emotion, draw on things that could absolutely help moving forward. And I believe, boys, that we've absolutely done it in several different sports. So we're going to come back. It's time for a little weekend rewind right out of the gate in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Coaching Company here on the Stadium Network and all over this glorious world on YouTube and social media. We don't care how you consume us. We just care that you consume us. Now, gentlemen, when I look at Major League Baseball, on the American League side, we've got 2 3-0 teams. On the National League side, we have 3 3-0 teams, including the two-time defending champion L.A. Dodgers. So I want to start right there. And DG, I'm going to start with you because there's some new names this year that are already, after just a few games, making a name for themselves. Where are you headed today?
Yeah, we don't see this very often, but now we have 2 rookies, and I have plays on them today, but it's Chase DeLauder who had 3 home runs in his first 3 games, tying Trevor Story and Kyle Lewis. The guy is actually coming into the major leagues and just kind of getting hot and staying hot. I think that we're going to get to know Chase DeLauder in the name, but also a rookie, but it's a little longer in the tooth, is Munetaka Murakami. And that guy is coming over from Japan and playing professional ball there, but he's still a rookie in the Major League Baseball. And he has a chance to tie Trevor Story, who hit 4 home runs in his first 4 games. He has a chance to do that today. I know he played for the White Sox, whatever you want to call him. That guy, he might not be must-see TV, but we're going to get to know him. He's not familiar with his game just yet, but we're going to learn more about Murakami as we see him develop and we see him maybe go for the record today and tie Trevor Story with 4 home runs in 4 games.
Is he going to be one of those stories, DG, where they're going to be, 41 and 110, and he's going to have 44 home runs? Because they've already given up 29 and they've scored 10. 29-10 in Milwaukee over the weekend, losing all 3. And first game, 14-2. They struck out 20 times. Way to go, White Sox. 20 times! 20!
Swing away, baby.
Swing away, baby. Free it up. Now, you know who's not free? This is the what the umpires are looking like right now in Major League Baseball. Very, very tight. Very, very tight. And if you were in Cincinnati and you saw that highlight all over social media, woo, Brandon, my guy, where are you headed today?
Yeah, let's talk about the ABS system, Coach. Let's talk about that Cincinnati Reds game because, yeah, everybody saw that highlight, which was great. I mean, the crowd was into it. Those two overturned calls were like Game 7 of the World Series atmosphere in Cincinnati. But those weren't the only two. If you don't know how the ABS system works, you get 2 challenges per team for the entire game. If you get it right, you get to keep them. He had 8 challenges in that game, did CB Buckner behind the plate. He had 26 missed calls behind the plate in that game alone. 88% overall accuracy for CB Buckner. This is the reason why instead of, and I know why baseball's doing it, because we have T-Mobile presents the ABS Challenge. Great, I do like the ABS Challenge, but let's just get all the calls right. We clearly have the system to just have automated balls and strikes. Major League Baseball should do that, but they're making money off the ABS Challenge, so they're not. But some of these umpires, they're going to be humbled, and CB Buckner is really going to see how bad of an umpire he is. He also ejected a manager in that game because he called a check swing while trying to call balls and strikes at the same time that he clearly can't do while not trying to determine whether or not the batter is swinging. So, yeah, CB Buckner, the ABS Challenge is built for umpires like you, and it's a great thing for baseball.
I wonder who's going to be the first guy or the first time that Major League Baseball puts in a system that, like in the NBA, if you get 16 technicals, you get suspended. What's it going to be for the umpires? Somebody's got to pay the price if you have 8 missed calls and you get to 30. Then maybe you sit for a game. Or
I've been saying it for years, Coach.
Right?
Yeah, there's got to be a punitive measure for these umpires. It can't just be, you get to make as many blown calls as you want. If I'm bad at my job, if I only get 88% of my job correct, I'm getting fired. There's got to be something.
That's so true. That's so true. Well done, DG and Brandon. All right, let's move away from baseball now. And Saturday night in Seattle, it was a very emotional night for Michael Chiesa, Rafael. You had Macy Barber maybe getting knocked out or submitted. Maybe the weirdest finish in the history of the sport. And then you had the main event. Where are you heading today?
First off, hats off to MMA this weekend. PFL, RAF7, and UFC all had great fights. But the main event of UFC Seattle. Joe Pyfer upsets Izzy Adesanya, easily beating him. His best fight of his career. How does Izzy come back for that? He's been awful his last 3 fights. So what is next for Izzy? Is he retiring? What is next for Joe Pyfer? Maybe Anthony Hernandez. That's who I have at plus 125. You can bet that later on this afternoon when I'm done. But I just thought Joe Pyfer looked phenomenal. I think he's going to be really good in the UFC. And boy, he has heavy hands. Not the left, not the right, but both of them at the same time because he threw both of them at the same time and connected at one point. It was phenomenal. Joe Pyfer, congratulations on your big win.
Yeah, it was a big win, emotions. And I like what you said about Israel Adesanya. As part of my takeaways for Smashcast Media today, sometimes, for fighters, their biggest obstacle is themselves. And they always want to stay one too long, one more payday, and they end up getting a brutal knockout in the process. And I don't want that to happen to Adesanya. I really, really don't. But he needs to step away. Now, gentlemen, my weekend rewind was probably the best story that happened over the weekend that maybe if you're not a golf fan, you didn't even pay attention to. The name is Gary Woodland. He won in Houston. But why is that a big deal? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because a couple of years ago, he was having all of these issues and these headaches, and he was crying, and he had to walk into restrooms because he didn't understand why he was feeling anxious and having paranoia. All of these things that happen when there's something on your brain that pushes on a certain part of it. It's very, very complicated, and he couldn't figure it out. And he almost retired. And then he went and had brain surgery. They cut his head open and took this thing out, and he's had to deal with PTSD severely the last couple of years, and finally did an interview just last week to talk about it, where if somebody walks up behind him, he gets scared and has to go into a porta-john just to settle down. Think about having to do that. And then he comes out, and he wins by, 4 or 5 strokes? Absolutely tears streaming down his face. He called his wife The Rock. She was right there on the green when he won. You had the 2 players he was playing with that as he's walking up the 18th fairway, were clapping and telling the crowd to get on their feet. You never see that when guys are losing. It was one of the best stories you'll ever seen. Oh, and by the way, his last win, gentlemen, was the 2019 U.S. Open 7 years ago. I can't tell you just how great this story was on Sunday afternoon. DG, what did you make of Gary Woodland and the emotion which we love here at this show?
Yeah, that's the part of that we don't realize about sports is it brings a lot of people together, but it also brings out a lot of the good. And we see the fight just to get back onto the course of what Gary Woodland has to do and be able to fight those demons. And it might not be the demons that you might think about, but these are the demons of like being anxious and the PTSD and not feeling yourself. Because when stuff starts being weird, the older we get, sometimes it's like, I've never felt this before. How do I deal with it? You start questioning everything in life, not just golf. Question everything. The fact that he's able to do this on this high of level, it just shows it's magical for sure.
Think about this, guys. He would be laying in his hotel bed and he would be hugging the pillow and didn't understand why he was hugging the pillow so hard. Like little thing. Can you imagine being alone in your hotel room and that happens to you? Wow. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. All right, one more bonus topic, and this is just coming out today, but it's been a story, Brandon, that I'm sure you guys on BetMGM tonight have been covering it, and it's the NFL, and I'm always on the side of the officials because they never want to pay them a full-time salary. So now they're going to pick it. They're going to strike, and so now today they're starting the hiring process of college officials to do games next year. Why can't the NFL just pay them and get this on down the road?
Look, I've been saying this for years. I don't know why the damn NFL officials are not full-time officials. I don't know why the league has done this so long and carried this out so long with their officials. And I don't blame NFL officials for being this way. I really don't. I don't know what's going to come of it. I do know we're probably going to miss regular season games again like they did. I can't remember what year, maybe 2005, when we didn't get real officials until week 3, and that was after the Fail Mary, I believe it was, that was called incorrectly. And then we finally get the officials back the next week. It's going to take something stupid like that for us to get officials back and for them to end this thing and just figure out, hey, we actually have to pay our guys.
Yeah, Raphael, we're talking about a league that makes, what, $10 billion a year, something like that, and we're talking about you can't pay them $250,000 a year. All these guys have full-time jobs during the week, fly out on Friday, and then they have to go back to work on Monday. What are we doing?
Yeah, this is crazy. It's not like we're talking about the NBA, WNBA officials being full-timer. No, we're talking about the NFL, the creme of the creme. They make so much money, and we can't pay them full-time? That's crazy. I thought this was going to be fixed that one year after the Fail Mary. I thought they were going to give them full-time, and we wouldn't have this discussion anymore. But I guess March 30th, 2026, we're still having this discussion.
You've got franchises, guys, and DG, I'm coming to you, that are going up and up and up. The Dallas Cowboys are now worth $20 billion reportedly. So, DG, why can't the salaries for the refs go up just like the salaries are going up for the players?
It's a bunch of business people that honestly are just stepping each other's way. Like at this point, if you want your game to be protected and thought about at a high level, you got to have somebody that is able to ref that situation. If we look at just each owner, just taking 0.5% less, that would actually cover all the referee costs at that point. We're talking about 0.5% for an owner. It's not that hard.
Crazy. It's not that hard. I mean, if the NBA owners can take it on the chin and lose more money paying the WNBA players, the NFL owners, who are all billionaires, every last one of them is a billionaire. Every one. And you can't pay the officials? I wonder how the players, who the first one that gets knocked out by a blindside tackle or a blindside block that wasn't called, how they're going to feel about this particular situation. Not very good. All right, gentlemen, well done on Weekend Rewind. We're only halfway home on a Monday, and I'm feeling good today. And there are 4 teams from the men's side, 2 teams from the women's side that are feeling great today. Coming up on the other side, we're breaking down the Final Four for the men, because yesterday and Saturday, what an incredible Elite 8 that we had. We do it all next. This is Coaching Company live, as always, right here on the Stadium Network. All right, Raphael, I got to start with you because our man Dirt Sheet Dan has tweeted that he has breaking news. They just announced it, I guess, a short while ago, that John Cena will now be the host for WrestleMania 42 after retiring in December. What do you make of this?
I guess I have to be doing some John Cena WrestleMania props because people are going to ask, will he step in a ring? Will he get in a fight? So for me, it's more prop bets, but I'm a little bit shocked. I thought he was going to go quietly out of WWE for at least a couple years and bring him back.
My guess, DG, is that they looked at WrestleMania and they're trying to pull one over on everybody and say the setup's only 44,000 tickets. It's not. Last year it was 63. It's in the same stadium. Stop it. But they can't sell any tickets right now, so maybe they think John Cena, bring him back in any role, will help.
Yeah, they're reaching for anything at this point because what they're booking on TV is not working. And so, hey, let's go get the guy who has magical hair all of a sudden, and we'll bring him back and put him with a hot mic on WrestleMania.
Man, Brandon, I don't even know what to say at this point. I love Cena, and I like hosts for WrestleMania, but I don't know. What's your take on this?
If he's going to give an attitude adjustment to anybody, I hope it's to the CEOs of TKO. That's what I hope to see, because those guys are killing the sport. That's the reason why they have to go out and get John Cena. This thing it's starting to die. The WWE, and it's sad to watch. It really is. It's a tough watch.
It is, and obviously I do 3 different wrestling shows, and it feels like 90% of our content is negative because of what you're saying, Brandon, because they don't realize what they're doing to their own sport. As long as they've got billions in their back pocket and they owe billions, that's all they care about. And then you got to go out and pay. I bet you Cena's getting probably $500,000 for one night because he knows he has them in a pickle. Because right now there's no star power, there's no storylines, there's no nothing when it comes to this 2-night WrestleMania. And right now, 37,000 and 38,000 tickets sold. That's nothing when last year they had 63 for both nights. All right, we're back in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are past the bottom of the hour if you're watching us live. It is 10:32 in the East, 7:32 out here in the West where I am sitting right now as we're just getting our week started. And you know, here at BTT Studios, we have 4 different shows that we do. But starting tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we are adding a premium-only content. And we're not even doing one that's free because this is going to be so great. And the first one is a match that Vince Russo has never seen, and a match that I was involved with, sort of. WrestleMania 18, the Clash of the Titans, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, arguably the 2 biggest names in the history of pro wrestling. We're going to do it live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can sign up over our BTT Studios page, and I promise you, $7 a month, and you get to watch Vince Russo, Big Tommy C, all of the matches that we were a part of or ringside for or wrote for. We start that tomorrow night. Raphael, you're a part of our wrestling coverage. Will you be watching that tomorrow night? Raphael? Yeah, I think you're on mute. There you go.
No, I'm actually going to be in the chat because I'm actually going to put the betting odds of that match because that nobody knows. So it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see Vince Russo watch that match.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see him watch any match, to be honest with you. So the fact that it's WrestleMania 18 will be kind of cool. DG, do you remember that match? How old were you then?
I don't remember, but I do remember the spectacle of it, but I didn't appreciate it. I've actually went back and watched it and enjoyed the beginning, right? Hearing all the fans go back and forth, learning about, what it is to book a match, right? To feel the crowd. It just talks so much in that part, not the actual wrestling.
Yeah, and the wrestling really was the secondary thing to it, DG, to your point. Because, Brandon, I remember, because I did the skit where, I said my prayers, I ate my vitamins, I called God G, and my mom yelled at me, the whole deal. And I remember walking out onto the floor, 80,000 people, and for 10 minutes, Brandon, all they did, it looked like they were trash talking, and they were changing the match because they were opposite. The crowd was cheering for one and not the other, and it was different. I know you're a wrestling fan, Brandon. What do you make of that match? And I know you'll be watching tomorrow night at commercials of BetMGM tonight. I know it.
Yeah, look, first of all, let's start with the latter of that because I would much rather watch that than listen to Brad Evans talk about his ILL in the Final Four for 3 hours. But on the other side of that, that match was amazing. The icon versus the people's champ, to have been there had to have been amazing with those two guys in the ring. I mean, look, Hulk Hogan was never the greatest on the mic. The Rock, absolutely one of the greatest on the mic. That whole lead up to that event was just fun. I remember your spots on that as well. When you called God G, I lost it. So yes, absolutely, positively, I would love to watch that. I'll try to catch it on breaks.
It's going to be a lot of fun, but I cannot emphasize enough. We are not going to do where in 7 days you get to watch it in premium and get to watch it live. We're not doing that. This will be premium only forever. So I encourage you to join us right now. All right, gentlemen, speaking of great, over the weekend, we have two women's teams that have made it to the Final Four. UConn in an absolute blowout. So they have the best team in and also the best player, as Bets for UCLA got her squad in. Then tonight, you got Michigan and Texas. And then TCU. Our King Lettuce, our young Peyton squad, has made it all the way to the Elite Eight. He'll be live on the show tomorrow to get his reaction. If they get blown out by South Carolina, maybe he won't be on the show tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. But for the Final Four for the men, it's absolute chalk. 2 1s, a 2, and a 3. And DG, I got to start with you. It was one of the great finishes of all time. Some might argue it was the greatest finish. Christian Laettner's on line 1. But to have UConn down 19, 44-25, down 15 at halftime, just claw back. But to have Braylon Mullins, who is a Indiana Mr. Basketball, and during their recruiting trip, they said, you come play for UConn, we'll get you back to the Final Four in Indianapolis, which is Saturday. And he's the kid who hit the shot. You can't write these scripts. What did you make of this finish?
Yeah, I hated it, honestly, because I said this live. I thought it was a great moment. I think it's great for UConn fans in general. But, I hate it because the better team didn't win. And that's not being a Duke fan. It's just hey, the better team was just really just rolling over them and allowed a team to walk back. But it was also a teaching moment, Coach, for me, because one, my oldest daughter threw it in my face after the game, which I had to talk to her about later with a spanking. I'm kidding. But no, but the fact that we talked about hey, you're never really out of it. And that just goes to show with sports. You're never really out of games, and they walk Duke down on a consistent basis by their defense. And they show that, hey, these older kids, these seniors, they actually know how to ball as well, not just these freshmen anymore in college. And so it was a great teaching moment to see them walk Duke down from being 19 down early in the game.
It'll be 3 of 4, Raphael. They won back-to-back in 2023, 2024. That is really unheard of in the sport of college basketball. And then you got Danny Hurley going, culture. It's what we're made of. Tough, gritty. And I'm like, dudes hate Dan Hurley. But if you're a UConn like Soupy is, you love having this cat as your head coach. Because as he's doing this, down 3 with 30 seconds to go to the crowd, it's that's a dude I would play for. What's your take on the game?
Let's see. Hurley, since 2022 in March Madness record, his 17-1 straight up and 17-1 against the spread. I think I want to go play for UConn as well because I'm going to do really, really well in March Madness to go to another Final Four. Now pump your brakes a little bit, UConn, because you still have to play the other side of the bracket who has 2 beasts, not just one beast of Michigan, but you also have Arizona. I said this all last night. Yes, UConn, good story, but story could end on Saturday.
All right, well, let's go to another one of the teams, Brandon, because I know how you feel about the Duke game, and that is Michigan. Here are their scores in the tournament: 95-62, 90-77, 95-72, and 101-80. Are they clearly the most dominant team in the tournament right now?
They're really damn good. They can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court, and they can score at will. This team, as much as they score in bunches, is going to have a handful against this Arizona team who is also really damn good offensively, but they can also play some good defense, which Michigan struggles with at times. So it's going to be a really good game. I think the winner of Michigan and Arizona is your national champion because I don't think anybody on the other side of the bracket, Illinois or UConn, can keep pace with them.
I guess I'll go to my next question right now then. Can we look at the rundown, please? Is that really going to be the national championship game? DG, I'll ask you that question now.
I think it is the national championship game because the other side of Illinois and UConn, they're both good teams. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to write them off too early because what happens in the Arizona-Michigan game? Like, you talk about coming out of that, it's just like when a gladiator goes in. Yeah, they might win, but really, how healthy are they coming out of a Clash of the Titans game with Arizona and Michigan? I love Michigan. I love Arizona. Both these teams are really coached well on both sides. And so at this point, great coaches, great bigs, great guards. There's so much. I don't know how you pick which team actually wins. It's going to be a great game for sure.
And that is kind of, we've seen it many times before, guys, where you've got the powerhouses on one side, Raphael, and they spend so much energy on Saturday, then when they get back to Monday, you're like, oh, wait a second, and the underdog starts to play pretty well. I can give you 4 or 5 examples. Is this going to be one of those times?
Don't sleep on Illinois. Illinois is a very deep team that loves to score. So if you can have a hot hand against UConn and then turn it around and have a hot hand against a Michigan team that you've beaten already, and an Arizona team who doesn't like to speed the game, they like to play a half court to set their defense up, Illinois can be a surprise team to maybe cut down the nets because of their offense and because of their 3-ball.
Let's go to that Illinois team for a second then, because for 39 minutes and 59 and a half seconds, we thought it was going to be Illinois and Duke. So, Brandon, is UConn beating Duke better for Illinois?
No, I think that Illinois was. Look, for what we forget is that Illinois, with the exception of the last 2 minutes, really struggled with Iowa. I mean, Iowa was in that game until the final 2 minutes of the second half, when Illinois started to pull away. So I actually think UConn is the better team. I think UConn shoots the ball better. The problem that UConn is going to have is Illinois' size. Illinois has the size advantage, I think, against every team that's remaining. So Illinois is going to struggle with UConn. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
DG, I'll ask you that same question. Do you think that Illinois was sitting there going, damn, we don't want to play this Duke team when they're up by 20, and then all of a sudden they're like, damn, we don't want to play this UConn. You know, it's. I guess you could look at it either way.
Yeah, you could, honestly, because you're looking at a team full of freshmen of Duke, and then you're going against which should be the higher caliber player in a sense, but you're looking at now this UConn team, longer in the tooth, a lot of senior-led players, and so now you're going against more experience. But I think that you have to look at the Illinois side and see how they play. Duke can play fast. Duke can play slow. Illinois is big. They're going to be able to take away Reed a little bit better than Duke could with Boozer. And so at that point, I think they have the shooting. They also have good enough defense to slow down UConn. Illinois is the team that I love going up against UConn for sure.
Wow. Okay. Raphael, from any betting angle for either game, have you seen a trend? Do you see something you like? Are things moving at all yet? Anything like that?
I talked to a couple of big bettors yesterday, and they're hoping all this UConn money comes in early because they want to jump on Illinois. Illinois, what do they have that no other team has left? Foreign players have been here before in foreign countries who played big games. I think that could put Illinois over.
Wow. All right, so here's the question. I know it's only Monday. About 10 seconds for each guy. What is your Monday national championship game? Brandon?
I will go with UConn. God, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with UConn versus Arizona.
Wow. Raph?
Arizona, Illinois.
Arizona. Yeah. So you guys think the same. DG?
This isn't sexy. Arizona and Illinois as well. I think that Arizona's a better team. Even though I love Dusty May as a coach, I think Arizona's the better team.
Very interesting. I'm going to go UConn and Michigan. I'm going to go the other way. I think both will use their momentum. So we've got to come up with something we can do here at the show to compete against each other. We got to come. I'm going to brainstorm tonight. We got to come up with something, and it's not a Mikey P premium show. That's not it. We've got to come up with something, and we will do that. All right, coming up on the other side, I want to give away some free merch this week, but we got to have a good day today. So 7-3. If you weren't here at the top of the show, that's okay. We're going to lock it in next. And also, are the Thunder going to make a statement tonight? This is Coach and Company live on the Stadium Network. All right, boys. Last night we had something that really kind of slid through the cracks as Toronto was playing Orlando. The final score was 139 DG to 87. Do the math, 39%. That's a 52-point win. They had a 31-0 streak. NBA record. How bad have the Magic turned into?
They have been really bad. And I know they don't have Franz Wagner playing right now, but the Magic are looking at where they're setting at in the seeding, and they have a chance to fall all the way down to 10th. And they're going to be playing a Charlotte Hornets team that's up and coming, a Miami Heat team that's cooled off a little bit, that's still really good. They could fall all the way down to 9th or 10th. And then talking about getting into the playoffs, like it'd be a struggle in itself. The Magic have fallen for sure.
My God, Brandon. They only had one quarter last night where they got 25 points. One. Your take.
The Magic have gotten to be absolutely brutal, but I think it's the rest of the Eastern Conference that might be upset about how bad Orlando's been, because this Charlotte Hornets team is going to be a team that can sneak up and bite somebody in the playoffs. And some of these higher seeds have got to be looking at Orlando like, please just win. Please don't let us have to face Charlotte.
They have a chance, Raphael, Charlotte, speaking of, they have a chance to get to that 8 seed, maybe even the 7. So they might not have to play in that 9-10. I like the Hornets a lot. Do you?
I do as well, but I like this Toronto team. They won last night with no Brandon Ingram. I mean, so they were the betting favorite at 3.5, and Orlando money came in. It closed at -1 Toronto.
Right now, they're the 5 seed. They won't catch Cleveland. Atlanta's a half game back. So right now, Toronto, they need to keep winning to avoid the play-in, because right now they're only a game ahead of Philadelphia. You don't want to be in that 7 seed. You do not want to be in that 7 seed. All right, gentlemen, great show so far. Great analysis, great conversation. We still have 2 more things to do. We got to talk a little Oklahoma City Thunder, and we got to lock it in. We're back live on the Stadium Network in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm the coach. This is Coaching Company. We lock in our best bets for the day in about 5 minutes. But first and foremost, gentlemen, thank you to the NBA schedule makers, because last night the New York Knicks went to Oklahoma City and they lost by double digits. Tonight, who's going to stay in the exact same hotel, going to play in the exact same arena? The number 1 seed in the East, the Detroit Pistons. DG, you're my NBA guy. Is this a chance for the Thunder to kind of make a statement against the entire East by knocking off 3 and 1 in back-to-back nights?
It is. And I think you have to be at Oklahoma City. Like, how do you get yourself going this late into the season when you're this big of a lead? And so at this point, I think this is a personal challenge to them. You're looking at the East saying, hey, when we match up, I want to have in the back of your mind that you can't beat us. And so I think the Thunder want to step on their throats as they did yesterday and completely get rid of the Pistons.
It kind of feels that way. And I think, Brandon, when you look at it, when you're the 1 seed on one side, you, out of respect, say, all right, they're the best team. They're probably going to make it to the NBA Finals. And the one thing that's not talked about is securing the 1 seed overall. That's never talked about. Right now, the Thunder have a 5-game lead, so they would have home court throughout the entire playoffs, including the finals. So does that add even more importance in your mind for tonight's game?
Yeah, look, I think one of the things that help out the Thunder, because in the NBA, I always question whether or not players actually want to win on any given night, right? Because I feel like the passion isn't there on a night-to-night basis in the NBA, but they're only 2.5 games ahead of the Thunder, or ahead of the Spurs right now, I believe. And when you look at what the Thunder have to do tonight, they have to win just to stay ahead of the Spurs, because if the Spurs, who play the Bulls tonight, win, and now all of a sudden you lose to Detroit, you're only a game and a half up. Now the Spurs are creeping in. The Spurs are a really damn good team, so you could not only not be the number 1 seed overall, you might not even be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So that's why I think is a difference maker for Oklahoma City, and I do think they step on Detroit's throat.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because Raphael, shaking your head already? I'm going to throw my question out. Why are you shaking your head?
Are we talking wins here, or are we talking putting money in my pocket and cover OKC wins this game. Are they going to cover 12.5? What's OKC done all season long? Not cover games. Detroit covered 5 out of 6. They want to show people we don't need this Cunningham kid. We can still play and win games, which they have. I like Detroit here.
Wow. I was actually thinking about futures. I was thinking about betting to get to the NBA Finals or betting to get – because I think even though the numbers are big right now, to Brandon's point, if San Antonio, who has an 8-game lead, oh, by the way, on the Lakers, all they need to do is put the gas pedal down until they can't catch the Thunder, because right now they have 6 left. Oklahoma City has 7 games left. So I don't know how much, and maybe, Raphael, it's a situation where maybe you can get some value on some points, because I don't know if the Thunder care about covering the 12.5. They care about winning.
You can get some value with OKC making to the NBA Finals, because all the money is on the San Antonio Spurs to make it to the Finals.
There you go. I absolutely love it. All right, gentlemen, again, Oklahoma City tonight playing the Pistons, and that game starts good Lord. Come on, Jonathan. Starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And by the way, last night, do you guys like the all the little, I guess, things that NBC has on their broadcasts? Sometimes you try too much. You try to throw in too many gimmicks. Do you like, I can't remember who has the guys on the end of the benches. They have their reporters on the end of the benches. Do you like those, DG?
I do. I think it brings something different, because the lull of a season, anytime, you need just a little sprinkle. And I think they're doing just enough. Not too much, just enough to give you something different.
Interesting. Just enough. Just enough. Now, just enough today for us is going to be 7-3 to roll that coach and roulette wheel on tomorrow's show. So without further ado, it's time. Let's lock it in. All righty, gentlemen, 10 seconds or less, 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. DG, my guy, start us off.
Start off with some rookies here. We're going Munetaka Murakami over the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -113. He plays for the White Sox. Get to know him. He's hot. We're going to stay hot today. And then another rookie, Chase DeLauder, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at +105. He plays for the Guardians, taking on the Dodgers. They're going to have to score to keep up. I think he continues to again tonight.
Love seeing that HRR on the screen. Great to have baseball back. Brandon, go.
Let's stay on the diamond. Dodgers -1.5 versus the Guardians is +100. I love that play right there. Dodgers -1.5. And then let's go to Reds money line versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why? Because they're the Pittsburgh Pirates. -125 for the Reds. Love the Reds on the money line tonight.
We're already laying run line plays on the Dodgers. Welcome to back in Major League Baseball. All right, Raphael, let's go.
We're taking the Bulls, Spurs, both teams to score over 112.5 at even money. It's all because the Bulls can't play defense, and they'll stumble getting over 113 points on offense. And then in baseball, give me the Brewers team total over 4.5 +145. It's an alt number, so move it from 3.5 to 4.5 and cash at 4.5.
All right, Big Chuck sent in 2 plays. He likes the Penguins Islanders over 6 -115. The hockey season coming to an end very, very soon. It's hard to believe that we're 2 days away from the month of April. Then the Rangers and the Orioles. He likes the over 8. Or that's over 9. My eyes are the worst. The Orioles have gone over this once in 3 games, and Texas has gone over this twice in 3 games so far. And then for me, I like 2 overs in the NBA. When you get to the end of the season, we got 6, 7, 8 games for some, but we're at the end. They don't care about defense whatsoever. The Bulls are long out of the playoffs. The Spurs have won 9 in a row. I like the over 244. Then the Cavs and the Jazz in Utah, very, very important. Over 242 minus the 110. All right, Raphael, my guy, do you have anything to make me a little bit smarter?
Coach, this is just for me and you so we can cash tonight. Each of the San Antonio Spurs' last 11 home games against the Chicago Bulls have gone over the total.
Wow. It begs the question, too. DG, I was talking to somebody today. I had a golf tournament for my son this weekend. By the way, T12, not a bad result for him. Playing against a bunch of 18-year-olds as a 15-year-old. I'll take it. But we were talking about, thank you, Ref. We were talking about Wemby getting paid and the Supermax situation, and they're already talking about him. And there's like several boxes you have to check. But the reason Luka was so pissed is because his clock started over when he got traded. San Antonio's always been a franchise that doesn't like to pay their guys. Will this be the first guy?
He's definitely getting paid because he's box office. He's going to be all NBA. He's probably, honestly, he's fighting for MVP of the season. Like, that's what we could always be talking about as well. Talking about SGA versus Wemby for the MVP. It's not done yet. And so, yes, I think he's definitely getting paid. And it's going to be $60+ million a year. My God.
$60 to $70 million. Brandon, 20 seconds. Does San Antonio finally open up the checkbook?
I mean, they have to. And if they don't, it's going to be good for somebody in the NBA because Wemby's coming to town.
Oh, man. I can't wait. Raphael, I think there's going to be a lot of numbers out there for a lot of things outside of just points, rebounds, blocks, and assists for this guy.
Yeah, he's must-watch TV. He's like Shohei in baseball.
He's becoming that. Quite the unicorn. Gentlemen, well done today on a Monday. Well done. And again, 7-3, and we'll have that wheel on the show tomorrow. And somebody will get one of our free new pieces of merch. But in the meantime, understand one of our busiest days at BTT Studios. In addition to this show, I have Off the Ropes on SiriusXM channel 156 at 2 o'clock. Coach and Bro Show, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, tonight, it is The Last Word. Big Tommy C and Gabby immediately after Monday Night Raw with their take. And the numbers last week, biggest one they've ever done. So congratulations to them. In the meantime, there's only one thing left to do. I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, love them all. My man Brandon, Raphael, my numbers guy, DG, live from Memphis. And never forget about Mikey P and producer man behind the scenes making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach. Trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about. This is Coach and Company live on the Stadium Network. We'll see you tomorrow.